Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sad and you're watching the Arsenal transfer show on the Football Corner. Let's get into these stories. So guys, welcome back to the channel. Firstly, if you're new, make sure to like, share and subscribe and let me know down below what your thoughts are so far on this transfer window. Now, getting into these stories, let's start off with the biggest one and the most surprising of all, which was Tchouameni linked to the club. Now, let's have a look at this because, it looks like Declan Rice is done and Timber is nearly done as well. And Tchouameni is now linked to the club. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not really believing this because it came from Spanish media and now the British media just blowing it up. So for me, I'm gonna wait and see what happens. Because listen, if we get Tchouameni, I'm telling you that right now, yeah, this is gonna explode, man. The midfield is just gonna be complete. I feel like he'd be the final piece to the puzzle. And for us, I feel like at the moment we're going to focus on getting a midfielder, but I don't think it's going to be Tchouameni. I think it's going to be maybe Lavia. If not Lavia, we might go for someone else. We still need to get an attacker in. I feel like Xavi Simons is still there for the taking, so we might possibly be able to get Xavi Simons. But Tchouameni at the moment, listen, if it can happen, that would be brilliant. But I just don't see it happening. He's a sick player, wicked, such a great young talent. Listen, that's the reason why I believe the fee that Real Madrid would be asked, or what the report says the fee that they will be asking for, is between 70 and 80 million. So listen, pretty penny, but for a player of his caliber, player of his skill, it's worth it. And let's face it, he's not really in favour under Ancelotti, but Ancelotti's not going to be there for that much longer. So you have another manager that's going to come in, and possibly that manager may favour Tchouameni better than Ancelotti did. So we just have to wait and see what happens with this. But at the moment, I'm not getting my hopes up, because I know if you get your hopes up, you get excited, you get let down. So I'm just gonna keep myself composed. I'm not gonna get too excited, not gonna get too gassed. I'm seeing everybody on social media going crazy. Oh my god, he's coming to the Arsenal, he's coming to the Arsenal. Let's calm down, guys. Let's relax, because this could turn around real quick and then you could not come to the club. So let's just wait and see what happens, see if it escalates, see if any tier ones come out with the news. Then it might be a bit more believable. For now, if no tier 1 journalists are coming out of it, it's just media trying to build up the buzz for him. Now, moving on to the second bit of news, which is João Cancelo. Now, João Cancelo looks like he's still linked to the club. We're trying to go in for him. Now, personally for me, I don't really want this guy at the club. I already told you guys before, I feel like his attitude stinks. According to reports, from what I heard, he got into an argument with Pep, and the argument was regarding why he has to prove himself, or continuously prove himself, when he's proved himself previously, and he thinks he just deserves to get game time. So for me, I just don't really want a player like that at the club. And yeah, to be honest, I want someone who's really dedicated and willing to prove themselves over and over and over again. That hunger never dies, because as a footballer, that's what makes you, is that hunger to achieve more and to keep on striving to be your best self on that football pitch. And for me, if a player is getting complacent, getting lazy, getting comfortable, that's when they start to lose the talent that they had. That's when they start to make more mistakes, when you get complacent. And you have to understand that's probably why towards the latter end of it he didn't look that good at Man City, because he started to get too comfortable. So unless Mikel Arteta wants to bring him in and he thinks that he can switch something on in his brain and make him into a hard worker and someone who really values the game time and will strive to do more and more every time he gets game time, then I'm completely up for it, and I'm up for bringing him in because he is a good player. But if his attitude continues to stink up the place, then I'm sorry, but we can't have that kind of attitude in the dressing room. Right now, the club is in a very good place, and the attitude in the change rooms is at a very good level, and we need to keep it that way. We need to not bring in people like this who will ruin the energy within the dressing room. Now moving on to another target for this position, which is Benjamin Hendricks from RB Leipzig. Now listen, I've not watched this guy play too much. I've seen a couple of games for RB Leipzig in the Champions League, but yeah, listen, not seen many games from him. From what we know, let's face it, he was involved in that team that got smacked at the Etihad. But let's face it, we got smacked at the Etihad, so that really doesn't matter. It looks like he's being brought in as a backup defender when he does actually play a right back position, but obviously he'll be a defender, so I'm assuming he's going to cover both positions. He'll cover the right back position as well as the centre back position. Now for me, that will be good if he can do that, but from what the report says, he's very important. He's an important player to RB Leipzig. So what that tells me is that they're not going to ask for a small fee. They're going to be asking for a big fee. They're not going to ask for like a 30 million or something like that. They're going to be asking 50, 60. Because yeah, listen, when the player's important to the club, they're going to ask for loads of money in order to release him. From what his stats say, he scored 4 goals and assisted 2 in all competitions. Listen, that's okay for a defender, as long as his defensive stats are good and he is good. He's a good defender. I'd say bring him in, but at the moment he's just a backup option for Cancelo. Still got to wait and see what happens with the deal and see if Cancelo talks break down, and then we'll see what happens with Hendricks, whether he will come to the club then. But yeah, anyway, we will see what happens with those 2 transfers. Now moving on, Granit Xhaka. Now Granit Xhaka, looks like that deal is done. 21.5 mil is the final fee which was agreed. It looks like Arsenal came back. I think there was a verbal deal or verbal agreement on 13 mil, I believe it was, but that deal looks like it broke down because Arsenal asked for more money, but it looks like we got more money in the end. So looks like we're getting 21.5 mil for Granit Xhaka. And listen, given that we bought him in for I think around 30 million, something like that, pounds sterling, so for us to be getting 21.5 million pounds back is very good business by Arsenal, to be able to get that much back even though he's been with us for this long. Now listen, he did have a good season last season, but let's face it, a lot of the seasons previously were not really that good. So at the end of the day, glad that he finished out on a positive note, and farewell to Granit Xhaka, and hopefully he has a really good rest of his career over at Bayer Leverkusen, and hopefully he can hopefully come back as maybe a coach or something like that, because I do know Mikel Arteta had him and Mohamed El-Neni doing their coaching badges, so he might have a job in the future as possibly a coach or backroom staff, something like that. Now just to also bring up the Declan Rice and Jurrien Timber deals. Now Declan Rice and Jurrien Timber, looks like the medicals for both of those deals are booked and ready to be done, so hopefully we should be receiving an announcement this week for the deals of Declan Rice and for Jurrien Timber. Looks like they're both going to get done this week, and it should be all positives from them, and I cannot wait to get them in, man. Declan Rice, amazing player, like I said before many times, giving him his flowers, amazing midfielder, as well as Jurrien Timber. Listen, from what I hear, I'm just hearing positives on positives and positives on this guy, man. Listen, people telling me he's like a Nathan Ake when it comes to his defensive work. He's very good at defending, as well as his ball carrying as well. It's just so many plaudits from different people that I've spoken to that as well as my friend, obviously that watches the Eredivisie. So listen, anybody that I'm speaking to right now, they're just giving plaudits for this guy, because obviously he's a very good defender, as well as a very good prospect to be playing in that inverted right back position. Now we could possibly have inverted left back as well as an inverted right back, so we'll have to see how that works out in the near future. But for now, let's get these deals done, and hopefully we can get them moved on and get ready for the new season coming up. So thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Like I said before, make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I make a video. Thank you very much for joining me for today for this Arsenal transfer show. Thank you very much. See you later. I love you. Come on, you Gunners. Bye.